Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. In this video, I'm going to react to an army veteran stealing a tank and then destroying San Diego. I mean, there's so much to take in there. Like, why did he steal the tank? And then why did he just go out and destroy, San Diego? Like, did he have some kind of mental break? Maybe uncontrolled PTSD? I don't know, there's a million reasons why he could have done this sort of thing, but it's still kind of crazy because, an army vet, they've lived such a disciplined life. I just don't know why he would do this, so I can't wait to watch this. Let's get to it.
Wednesday, May 17th, 1995. An Army veteran, down on his luck and at odds with the world, entered a San Diego National Guard armory, stealing a 100,000-pound patent tank, taking the city of San Diego hostage during a televised rampage.
He was on the highway with it. Oh my god. I hope
and after desperately running out of options, authorities requested the assistance from the United States Marine Corps, requesting a Cobra attack helicopter to respond and take out the tank.
What the heck?
But not before a Marine turned police officer seized the moment, bringing a 9mm to a tank fight. For 23 hellish minutes, San Diego was on lockdown.
Why?
In 1995, San Diego was arguably in its prime. The economy was booming, the Padres were decent, and while the city was considered family-friendly, crime in San Diego peaked in the mid-90s. And with a population of 2.6 million, the San Diego Police Department were severely overwhelmed. From gang violence to homicides to petty shit like, oh my god, it's too sunny, not sunny enough. But with that volume of crime came an increased level of training and experience. The San Diego Police Department was a highly capable force, ready for anything except a tank. However, San Diego was and still is a military town, and a lot of the members of the San Diego Police Department were military veterans who decided to settle down in the area after serving, many of whom understood armored warfare. But few understood it like Shawn Nelson, a Utah man who would later relocate with his family to San Diego. And after high school, Nelson enlisted in the U.S. Army, where he attended armor school at Fort Knox, Kentucky, where he learned and mastered his craft as an armor crewman.
Okay, so just based on what I know so far, it feels like he kind of maybe wanted to feel what it was like to be back in a tank again, to be back in a war zone again.
1978. And after completing his training, Nelson was deployed to West Germany with his tank battalion. He would get out of the army only 2 years later. But while serving, Nelson received multiple disciplinary actions, but nonetheless was honorably discharged in 1980. He returned to San Diego in pursuit of the American dream. He started his own plumbing business, married a woman with an equally successful career, and together they had it made. Nelson was quickly building a respectable reputation as a friendly plumber, and was famously known within his community as the plumber with the work van bearing personalized plates can fix. He took thousands of jobs, always quoted fair prices, and business was good. But the seemingly happy family man would soon descend through a chapter of misfortune in 1988, beginning with the passing of his mother. Overwhelmed with grief, Nelson became extremely erratic. So erratic that his wife hopelessly filed for divorce in 1990, causing Nelson to become even more erratic. And to make matters worse, shortly after his divorce, a motorcycle accident would leave Nelson with serious spinal injuries.
Oh my god, how much bad luck. I mean, I guess, a lot of people have similar things happen in their lives, but this was like bang, bang, bang. Not good.
And a lifetime of chronic pain. And this erratic behavior was only worsened. While being treated at Sharp Memorial Hospital, Nelson tried to walk out and was physically stopped by hospital security. And after being discharged, Nelson would file a lawsuit for $1.6 million in damages, citing negligence, assault, battery, and false imprisonment at the hands of Sharp Memorial Hospital. A Superior Court judge would later dismiss the case, and the hospital countersued Nelson for $6,000.
Oh my god.
Dealing Nelson yet another blow to his already declining
dude.
And to make matters even worse, his father's death would occur only 2 years later in 1992, causing his life to spiral out of control, and he turned heavily to drugs and alcohol. The feelings of hopelessness, desperation, coupled with a vague opinion that pain and misfortune predominate the world. The blue-collar optimist became a pessimist.
I kind of feel, at this point here, I feel really bad for the guy, you know? Obviously, I don't know him. He might have been an arsehole, but it's such a horrible chain of misfortune to happen so close together. You've barely had any time to deal with the last blow, and then bang, you get another one.
By 1995, Nelson would become a shell of his former self after his tools were stolen out of his work van, the tools required to perform his plumbing duties. And with no money and no tools to fulfill his jobs, Nelson was shit out of luck. His utilities were shut off, his mailbox began to overflow with collection letters, and his live-in girlfriend at the time moved out and left him. He was now facing reality as the bank began proceedings to foreclose his home. Addiction began taking over, and Nelson began seriously using hard drugs. During odd evening hours, Nelson would dig in his backyard, reportedly digging a hole as deep as 20 feet, and telling his friends that he was mere inches from finding gold and possibly oil in his backyard. He began obsessing over his so-called mine shaft, with delusions that finding these natural resources would be his financial salvation. Nelson took this mine shaft so seriously, he filed a notice informing the county of San Diego of his plans to mine his backyard. When city engineers rejected Nelson's plans, Nelson became manic, and through his suffering and his drug abuse, Nelson developed a nihilistic worldview.
Quick question. If you actually find oil in your backyard, are you now like an oil, industrialist, or does that oil belong to the city? Like, can someone explain that to me, please?
A dangerous combination for a man without a family. As during this time, while showing a neighbor his mine shaft, Nelson stated that Oklahoma was good stuff, in reference to the Oklahoma City bombing perpetrated by Timothy McVeigh, which occurred the month prior on April 19th of that year, an attack which left 168 people dead.
A massive car bomb exploded outside of a large federal building in downtown Oklahoma City.
The neighbor was unsure if Nelson was condoning the attack or commenting on the drama the event caused over the last several weeks. But it's obvious Nelson took some form of inspiration, whether it be in the shape of mass destruction or self-destruction. He devised his plan only 1 month following the Oklahoma bombing. He picked his location, a National Guard armory in the area of Kearny Mesa, in a time of 5 p.m., the height of rush hour traffic. And on Wednesday, May 17th, in the seemingly utopian city of San Diego, Nelson drove his van to the National Guard armory. Although the gate to the vehicle yard was typically locked after 5 p.m., employees at the armory were working late and left the gate wide open. Nelson drove straight in. Guardsmen stared at the van bearing the license plate, "Can Fix," and only assumed Nelson was supposed to be there, as he looked the part of some sort of repairman, until he climbed down the hatch of a 57-ton M60 Patton tank and fired it up.
This guy's clearly having a mental breakdown, complete mental breakdown. This is just insane, Imagine looking at your nearby road and seeing a real tank on there. You'd be like, what the hell am I watching?
I saw you singing in a photograph, but I never learned your name.
Wow.
Then it wasn't long after.
I don't know whether to be laughing or just to be like, what the heck are you doing right now, dude?
So you told me, come on over, and we'll sing a sweet refrain.
I really hope no one died here.
And the world was turning slower. I can't explain.
With a top speed of 30 miles per hour, Nelson's 100,000-pound tank plowed through dozens of unattended parked cars, even coming within feet of knocking down one resident's house.
And I always will do right by you.
He ran up over a cyclone fence about a foot from a house.
I mean, what was the end game here? Like, he probably wasn't even thinking that far ahead.
It became evident to police through his technical maneuvering that whoever was operating the tank was a trained professional Given the threat posed and the inability to stop the threat, San Diego police notified the Marine Corps. Officials at Camp Pendleton suggested a Cobra attack helicopter, and the bird was prepped for takeoff.
I mean, literally turning the streets of San Diego into a war zone.
Nelson made his way northbound on Convoy Street before heading west onto Balboa Avenue. He entered the 805 freeway, heading southbound toward the 163 split. And while on the 805, he attempted to knock down a pedestrian bridge. And after multiple failed attempts, he eventually gave up. He made his way onto the 163 near the exit of Genesee when he made a sudden abrupt turn toward oncoming southbound traffic. Putting the lives of hundreds of innocent civilians in jeopardy.
My God.
But while crushing through the center median.
So that's attempted murder, right? Is that attempted murder, you could say? Maybe not.
He disabled the left track and hung the body of the tank atop the rubble. Realizing how close he was to crushing oncoming vehicles, officers surrounded him and began scrambling with ideas on how to stop him.
This guy is
San
absolutely
Diego police
insane.
officer Paul Paxton, a gunnery sergeant at the time with the Marine Corps Reserve, leaped onto the hull of the tank and opened the hatch. He called down to Nelson and ordered him to surrender. Nelson looked up, ignored Officer Paxton, and continued lurching the tank back and forth in an attempt to free. 3 other officers rushed in to assist Officer Paxton, including this guy right here who looks like Chunk from the Goonies. The officers ordered Nelson to surrender, but Nelson continued to ignore them and continued throttling the tank. Police were left with no other options, as the risk of him freeing the tank and mowing down oncoming traffic was far too dangerous. Officer Paxton fired his weapon one time, striking Nelson in the shoulder. Nelson collapsed, and officers rushed in to secure the scene.
Oh, Nelson, why? Why, man? How much time did he get for this? 10 years? More? 10? 15?
Nelson was ironically transported to Sharp Memorial Hospital, where he later succumbed to his wound.
Succumbed? He died? I thought it was just in the shoulder.
And on May 18th, at approximately 2:30 a.m., the tank was removed from the freeway. Miraculously, nobody else was hurt during this incident. The story shocked not only San Diego residents, but the nation alike, and debate soon followed as to whether or not police were justified in using lethal force.
The question is
I thought they shot him in the shoulder. That's what the guys just said.
there something else they could have done?
One of the officers who ended up jumping on top of that tank to stop the chase. This cop operated a tank during Desert Storm.
I know people look at it as a vehicle or a tank. That was a moving weapon. That was the biggest weapon on the loose in the city of San Diego yesterday.
Why wouldn't they mace him? Why wouldn't they do anything? They shot the guy and left with no answers.
Wow, she's actually crying about it. That's crazy. I think shooting him was completely unnecessary. You know, he hadn't fired the tank. You know, he hadn't hurt anyone yet. Yeah, I feel like killing him was a bit excessive here. What do you guys think?
There's one thing that goes unmentioned with this story. Given the facts and circumstances, his discontent for Sharp Memorial Hospital, and his history there as a patient, the fact that his tank stalled near Genesee on the 163 may not be a coincidence. From my experience working on an ambulance in San Diego a long time ago, Genesee is the 163 exit to Sharp Memorial. The hospital property is less than a few hundred yards from the exit, and his tank stalled fronting the hospital.
So he was going there.
It's not impossible to imagine that's where Shawn Nelson was headed.
Possibly, but it's still speculation at this point. Shawn Nelson's brother Scott Nelson believes his shooting was justified. Really? Your own
Hey
brother?
guys, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that subscribe.
Great video. What a story. I do feel like killing him was unnecessary. I just feel like they could have restrained him. Like, if they really shot him in the shoulder, which is what the narrator said, he must have been sufficiently immobilized so as to, you know, yank him out of that tank. And then you've got him, right? The danger is over. I'm guessing maybe that after shooting him, perhaps when they tried to get him out of there might have been a struggle. I'm just trying to think of, because a shoulder wound, I don't know if there's sufficient arteries in there for you to bleed out from that to the point where you lose enough blood to die. Something else must have happened. Either another bullet was fired or there was another conflict after that. I think there's more to this story. What do you guys think here? Do you think, killing him was the right way to go? Like, I don't know. I don't think so. I really don't think so. But it was a great story. I kind of feel sorry for him, really. He had such a bad hand dealt to him. I think if anybody watching this video, including myself, had that horrific chain of events, I'm not saying that we would go out and do what he did, but we would be hugely affected by it. So yeah, it was a really, really sad story, but an interesting one to say the least. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.